update here at the Information Command Center. We're live at the studios of the Government Information Service, and we are on NTN as well as the Government of St. Lucia Facebook page, YouTube, and WVENT 93.5 FM. And as we mentioned before, we are now navigating our way through recovery as the country moves into various phases of reopening. And testing results received on June 16, 2020, as far as COVID-19 is concerned, indicated 52 negative test results. A total of 1,447 tests have been carried out to date, and the recorded number of confirmed cases remain at 19. 18 of those cases have fully recovered. The last positive case was recorded on June 4th, 2020, making today the 13th consecutive day that all tests conducted have returned as negative. We also note that the curfew time has been reduced, and the curfew now stands from 12 a.m., 12 midnight, until 5 a.m. daily. We have also since seen the reopening of St. Lucia's borders to international travel, and earlier today, during an interview with Lucia Joseph, the Minister for Tourism, Honorable Dominic Fede, spoke about the measures in place as well as St. Lucia's marketing presence in the marketplace. Do we have that clip? Okay, I believe we'll get back to that clip in a moment. And St. Lucia has also launched a new global tourism campaign created by the St. Lucia Tourism Authority, the Ministry of Tourism, and the Government of St. Lucia. They kicked off the She is St. Lucia, Let Her Inspire You campaign. It is a video inspired by the fact that St. Lucia is the only country in the world named after a woman. Millions of consumers will be reached through social media, digital marketing, and dedicated e-blasts. The campaign's thoughtful approach highlights St. Lucia's most appealing selling points, including its positioning as a vacation destination where natural beauty abounds. The heartwarming tone of the 90-second clip conveys the beauty of the island with stunning aerial visual of the majestic Peter Mountains, ocean waves lapping on the shore, and the lush rainforest. We now take a look at the video, She is St. Lucia.
She's been watching, waiting, wondering when the sands of time will give way to a tide of change, and for yesterday and today to become a new tomorrow, for a time when her sun can kiss the cheeks of your loved one and her stars can twinkle in her honeymoon skies, when her earthly embrace will reassure and calm your soul, and her unique view can change your whole perspective. Proudly, she has risen to meet new challenges and to provide safe harbor to all who reach her shores. For her hopes and dreams still stand shoulder to shoulder, a precious reminder of experiences yet to come. So, wherever your moments and memories take you, let her sense of adventure set you free. She is St. Lucia. Let her inspire you.
Quite an inspiring video there as St. Lucia moves into recovery mode. And as we mentioned earlier on, we had the Minister for Tourism, Honorable Dominic Fede, with an interview conducted by Lucia Joseph earlier on today. And he spoke about our marketing presence and the protocols in place as we ramp up efforts to welcome visitors here back to St. Lucia. Let's take a look at that clip right now.
Well, based on the airline's institution of flights to the destination, we see that the airlines are coming in a rather careful manner None of the airlines have come back to full capacity where they were pre-COVID for varying reasons. No one wants to fly an empty airplane. So much so, I think as well, no one wants to market a destination with empty hotel rooms. So I think that what we are doing is making sure that we have a very measured and strategic approach, trying to gauge the demand and trying to gauge the market's appetite for traveling now, because there still is a fear, Lisa, for traveling. Let's face it, there are a lot of people that are traveling, and the more people travel, I think that very quickly there will be some bolstered confidence in the manner that people travel and the quantum by which the market comes back. But what we have to do as well is to also scale our budgetary allocations in line with the market trends.
And of course, the discussions are ongoing as St. Lucia prepares to once again welcome visitors from the international market back to our shores as I mentioned earlier on our road to recovery post-COVID-19. We are due for our first break, and when we come back, we'll be discussing early childhood learning via representatives of a special association, as well as a film festival and film activity in response to what is going on with early childhood learning. We take a break, but do stay tuned.
As part of government's social stabilization plan to assist persons who have lost their means of earning due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the government of St. Lucia has implemented the Income Support Program, where non-contributors to the NIC shall receive a monthly payment of $500 for the next 3 months. Taxi drivers, jet ski operators, vendors, agro-processors, tour guides, hairdressers, barbers, small bar and restaurant operators, construction workers, and other sole traders who meet the criteria can apply using the Government of St. Lucia's website www.govt.lc. Payments will be made directly via electronic transfer to the recipient's bank account. The Income Support Program, simple strides towards recovery.
And welcome back. I have in studio with me today representatives from the National Association of Early Childhood Practitioners. We have Ms. Alvina Snack, Administrator of Happy Kids and Cluster Leader for the Grosley and Babonneau region, and also the Chairperson of the Fundraising and Planning Committee. Welcome, Ms. Snack.
Thank you.
Also in the chair today with us, Giovanni Moses, Administrator of Children Garden Learning Center and the PRO of the association.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Just Soufriye, should I also add that?
Merci, Apile.
Welcome to the show today. Yeah. So first of all, Ms. Snack, tell us about the National Association of Early Childhood Practitioners.
Well, the association has been in existence for 4 years now, and I froze.
Yeah.
Do I continue?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, the association has been in existence for 4 years now, and we have as our president Mr. Rustic Elcock from Vieux-Fort.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And what is the association? What is the mandate of the association?
Well, the association is there to provide support for its members and also to help in edifying our children, to nurture them, to provide early childhood education, quality early childhood education to the children of St. Lucia.
Okay. Mr. Moses, why do you think it's so important that St. Lucia has such an association?
It is very much important because, for one, as an organization or entity, we don't have to rely on a government per se to rally or champion the cause for children. And within the government department, there are other divisions like Ministry of Education, and from education there is the Early Childhood Services, and like they are the governing body. And then within there, we devised this association in order to champion the cause of not only the children, but the persons who are directly involved or connected with the children on a day-to-day basis. So as Ms. Snack alluded to, the association came to being to advocate on behalf of the practitioners who are directly involved in the classroom on a day-to-day basis. Unlike the unit, which is early childhood, they are the officers and the curriculum officers to oversee what is going on in the different centers around the island.
Right. Over the years, a lot of emphasis has been placed on primary school education, tertiary, secondary, and what have you. But how important do you think that we pay more attention to early childhood education?
I think sometimes we often make the mistake that thinking early childhood is not important. Why send my child to preschool? But this is the foundation that's been laid for the children. You cannot build a house without a foundation. And even if it has a foundation and the foundation is not strong, that building will collapse. So the early childhood sector is here to provide a strong foundation for our nation's children.
And of course, we saw COVID-19 impacting every single sector of the society. Naturally, early childhood was not spared, but speak specifically about how it affected your operations.
I think I shall answer the question. Coronavirus, COVID-19, it's a global issue. And then, as you said, it has impacted a lot on a lot of businesses around the world, and St. Lucia is not excluded. COVID-19 has done a lot, and even our sector, we've been badly hit because we've been out there away from the physical setting from the 16th of March till now, with no concrete activities to disseminate to the children within the setting. There is no financial income coming from the service providers, those who need our service. They're not coming in. So at the end of the day, we are badly hit by COVID-19. And then as an entity, we are struggling to come to terms with the present situation of the impact that COVID has landed on us. Okay, we are closed. Some of us have rent to pay. Some of us have utility bills to pay. And some of us have loans to pay. And it's like, it's nerve-cracking. And if we are not strong, I think we may have to start sending stones after the sun.
But despite that, what are some of the measures that you're contemplating or you have put in place in response to this crisis?
Well, Ms. Snack will be able to handle that, but I think the association is our, we've put a package in place to combat the present situation. But apart from the package, what we are advocating, that since the children are not within the physical setting of the center, we are now focusing with the parents to do what we call the home-based continued activity with the children at home, because we are not there indirect. So we are advocating to the parents as to some of the activities that they can incorporate at home. I like to use this one. The home and the center must work hand in hand. They cannot work in isolation. So having said this, there are areas that Ms. Snack will handle that we are saying that the parents should work with the children at home in order to keep them, I like to use that word, astute, keep them there, because the children are frustrated like any other persons, because they have a life.
Yes.
You know, they don't see their friends. They're not seeing the physical building, and they ask questions about school. So we are saying that we are putting this in place, and as I said, Ms. Snack will give you a synopsis of the activities that we want the parents to engage the children while they're at home away from the physical setting during this COVID period.
Yes. Ms. Clark, can you expound on that?
Yes, you see, COVID-19 have affected our educational sector, and we are now seeing that the Ministry of Education have organized virtual platforms for the other educational sectors, the secondary school and the tertiary level education, but not for the early childhood sector. So the association, the National Association of Early Childhood Practitioners, have taken it on board to organize material so that we can reach our children at home. They are not forgotten. So we have organized with the help of Mr. Colin Wicks. We'll be producing videos with instructional material. Stuff that we do at the preschool, we'll be bringing it to the children at home with a little assistance from the parents.
In terms of just going back to what the association can and cannot do in terms of possibly setting standards and regulating what obtains, what is your role in that area in terms of monitoring early childhood centers?
Okay. The association, now I'm glad you asked that question, because as we were reviewing some of the videos sent by the various centers, we realized there is a need for training in some areas. It's sad to say that our lesson plans have taken a hit, and we realize in that sector that we need more training in that sector. Even some of the materials used by our various centers, we realize they're not sufficient, they're inadequate, or they're just not, they have had its time. So we are realizing that some of the deficiencies that exist, and the association is putting plans in place to amend or to help fix the problems.
Is the association recognized by the Ministry of Education?
Yes, it is.
Okay, from inception, or that took a little
I would
while
say
in coming?
from inception, because when we had the steering committee was put in place to review, well, not to put review, but put together the constitution, and Ms. Ruth Favory was on was part of the steering committee, was a member of the steering committee.
Going forward, Moses, what are some of the things you'd like to see happen with this association?
Visibility. That's one of the first things. We must be visible within the quadrants of St. Lucia. Because without our voice, our centers, our administrators will not be able to stand. Okay? Secondly, we have to be the mouthpiece, advocate. And as I said earlier, not only for centers, but the children, and we're looking at the children right, okay? Because we are directly involved, okay? And also to lobby the administrators to be part of this association, because it is not a one for one, it's a one for all for one. Okay, so we are there to see that and drive our objectives to the wider nation, and have not only the administrators and the staff of the various centers, but the entire general public of St. Lucia to buy into the National Association, because we cannot do it alone. And by so doing, we will also make appeal to the parents, because they are the ones who generate our revenue. Without them, we cannot get.
All right.
We have to advocate to the parents as to the way to go in doing what is required with the children at home, away from us.
Right, right.
Because I said it earlier on, the home and center must work together. So the association there is there to, we want people to see us as an entity, as it's viable for the continued operation, development of early childhood in St. Lucia.
Okay, Ms. Nack, I also recognize that you're chairperson of the Fundraising and Planning Committee. Can you speak to some of the activities that the association have organized in terms of raising funds and creating that awareness, as well as Mr. Moses spoke about?
Okay, our main fundraiser activity is usually held for independence. We had it earlier this year in the first weekend of March. and it's usually an Independence Dress Festival where our children from the various centers, they parade around in the national costume, in form of song, drama, dance, whatever you have. Our children, they have that time and they put on a show for us. Yes, that is one of our major fundraising. I would say for now, the only fundraiser. Bringing this activity to the general public, to our parents and children at home. We want to encourage parents and viewers out there, business persons, support this program. In order for this program to be viable, in order for it to continue for a period of time, we don't have the finances. So we're asking persons out there who can donate, who can sponsor some airtime, please do so, because we're dependent on that.
Okay. We're due for another break. When we come back, we will learn a little more about this project that's being discussed here today by Ms. Alvina Snack, representative of the National Association of Early Childhood Practitioners. We take a break, but do stay tuned.
What's in the food you're eating? Do you really even know? All the chemicals and hormones used to accelerate their growth. All the artificial flavoring, sweeteners and colors too. We consume and we don't spare a thought for the damage that they'll do. No, think about the children. Think about the children. How will we save them? Chemicals and GMOs are not the solution. Use organic and join.
Excessive agrochemical use, additives, and genetically modified foods are harmful to health and the environment. Join the good food revolution. Grow, buy, and consume organic. A message from Rise St. Lucia and the Ministry of Sustainable Development with funding from the GEF Small Grants Program, UNDP.
The good food revolution.
Virus ready to harm us. Panic is not the answer. We can win this together.
Often use hand sanitizer. Better yet, use soap and water.
We must protect each other if we are to beat this corona.
Together let us win this war. Be a soldier for St. Lucia. Together let us win this war. Be a soldier, together we can beat this corona.
So you don't become the next case. Avoid touching your face. I'm sure you've been told so. Handshakes and hugging are up. No, no.
Advice is you the please. Cover your mouth and your nose if you cough or sneeze.
Practice social distancing and avoid large social gatherings.
Together let us win this war. Be a soldier for St. Lucia. Together let us win this war. St. Lucia, be a soldier. Together we can beat this corona.
For further information, please contact the hotline at 311 or the Bureau of Health Education at 468-5349.
And welcome back. Today we're discussing early childhood, and in studio with me is Ms. Alvina Snack, Administrator of Happy Kids and Cluster Leader for the Gros-Islet and Barbano region, and also the Chairperson of the Fundraising and Planning Committee, the National Association of Early Childhood Practitioners. We're now joined by Mr. Colin Weeks of the Caribbean Youth Film Festival and Cut TV. Welcome.
Thank you.
And right now we're going to be discussing an initiative from the National Association of Early Childhood Practitioners, Lucian Kinderpals. Tell me more about that project.
Well, let me start from the beginning. I had a small history with the association, and when, as we indicated before, when COVID hit, that there was need to get more involved in the PR aspect of it, and so we came up with with actually marketing plans to expose the association and the plight of the association. So the idea is basically to introduce early childhood online and on TV to the world, to the public, and especially St. Lucia. So we came up with a program, a TV program, where it will take the format of educating young people or preschoolers since they're at home, so keep them active, keep them informed, and it will be a combination of all the things that is happening or happens at the centers. And so that's basically it. So it's a potpourri of reading, songs, nursery rhymes, activities, creative activities, and just to engage the youngsters with their parents at home.
What has the response been like, Ms. Snack, from the various centers you've engaged in participating in this project?
Well, some centers, I must say, they were a little hesitant, but for majority of our centers, they're excited and they're on board. Always eager to send their videos. Yes.
And the intention is, how soon do you expect to have this going on national television?
Okay, well, we actually at our first phase. We've been planning this for maybe about a month and a half or so now, and we actually had a first phase where we wanted to, first of all, to sensitize the public about what early childhood education is, and that's what we're doing here today with you. And then we want to roll out the program. So we should have the program out in another 2 weeks, and then hopefully that it could be a continuous initiative. We don't want to just do it just because of that gap that we currently face in, but we want it to be a continuous program where kids will eventually come home, even after post-COVID, when they eventually come home and be able to sit down in front of the TV and get that to follow up on what they have learned at school, and for their parents to be engaged in what's going on.
And what are your needs right now in terms of rolling out this project?
Well, our needs are basically sponsorship, really. We in that phase also, where we have sent out proposals, and we're reaching out to corporate St. Lucia, different agencies, private persons, to actually, help support the initiative, and that's where we are. Another aspect of it, we are bringing on, I would say, celebrities to do different aspects of the program. So we would like a popular singer to come on and sing, a kid's song, somebody else to read a short story. So we want it engaging and as wide verse as possible of persons.
And Ms. Snack, for persons who are interested, how could they get in touch with you?
Okay, anybody who's interested in participating in the program could contact me at 714-4745, and also the president of the association. I'll have to give you her number later.
Of course, we could always share that on subsequent programs with our viewers and listeners. But Colin, there's another project. I know that the Caribbean Youth Film Festival is rolling out as well. Right. Tell me more about that project.
Well, again, every summer that we would put out our summer festival, film festival, and this year is no exception. Every year, as a creative person, you really do have to think of what's the next way to go forward. And because of COVID, we really had to think of a different strategy to be able to engage young people because of the whole social distancing aspect and everything, since they're not at school. And so what we are going to do this year is have a film competition called COVID Diaries. So the idea is to also use film as a way for them to express themselves. So tell us your story on COVID, whether it be fictional or non-fictional. So it could be a documentary, a short film, where you actually produce, send it, submit it, and again, be part of the festival, win prizes at the end of the day. So we're inviting young people right now to actually go out, start to shoot their film, start to do their interviews, whatever it need be for the documentaries, and we'll have the presentation online like before. I could safely say that actually it has opened more doors for us, because what we are able to do is to work with our regional and international partners directly with the program. Before we had to try to bring people in, which was always, you know, a little bit of a hassle. But now, since we're doing it online, we could actually have those webinars online, and we're going to have a series of webinars from July 9th up to August 13th. So every Thursday we're looking to do a webinar on one aspect of filmmaking. So now I could reach out, as I said, to my international partners. I'm already speaking to them, regional partners also, to get filmmakers so they could, you know, talk about the business of filmmaking.
And in terms of persons interested, how could they reach out online? How they could?
Right.
What platforms are you using?
Right. So we also have our website, Cut TV. It's cuttv.net. That will have all the information. Also our Facebook page, which is Cut TV Caribbean Youth Film Festival, and we will be rolling out all the information, all the necessary guidelines there. And yeah, so it's just a matter of, at the end of the day, when you finish, you upload to the specified website, email address, and yeah, you're part of the competition, and you could win your prize. Yeah.
And we also received quite a few interesting short videos from Cut TV in the meat of the whole COVID-19 lockdown. Tell us a little more about those videos. We did air some of them right here on NTN.
Right. Again, Cut TV was established to give youth a platform to where they could speak on anything. And again, COVID is you know, something dear to all of us, so we had to be part of it. So what we got was young filmmakers who are outside of St. Lucia to tell their experience, and not just filmmakers, but young people out of St. Lucia to tell their experience on how COVID is actually affecting them at the moment. So when it started off, well, we're talking around May there, April, May, right? I think it was. Yeah, we got them to actually produce short videos on, you know. So we got videos from Taiwan, we got videos from New York, we got videos from Trinidad. So it was an array again of regions that we were able to get their experiences. So that was basically what it was about.
At the broader level, just speak to what we are seeing now. I mean, it's a question I've posed to several of my guests where creative is concerned and the importance of the creative sector. I've mentioned quite often, persons probably have heard me say this, that the creative sector, even during this lockdown and COVID and what have you, they're the ones who have helped keep hope alive. We may say that, but just stress the importance of having the creative sector and supporting the creative sector within any society.
Well, this is something I've been advocating for a long time now, in terms of how the creative sector could help in so many ways, you know, with our economy, with our social development, what have you. Again, it all stems from the establishment of the film festival in the first place, that, you know, to give young people specifically a chance, and secondly, to start a platform where young people will be able to train into becoming professionals. So that's more like a grassroots program. But yes, as you said, we even saw how more vital it was in terms of just your whole psychological approach to COVID. You know, how you deal with it, and you saw what TikTok and the other avenues did for during COVID. So yeah, I mean, we could basically go on for a very long time and create another show, Tony, about, you know, the importance of the creative sector during this period, or any period. But we see it rising again, coming to the fore, and we hope that, well, put it that way, the powers that be see the importance of tapping more into and putting more resources into this sector. Look what we're currently doing with early childhood. I mean, it is so important that even before, you know, creating a program like that might have even been more difficult to sell, but now we understand how important this could be in terms of actually educating young people and helping them develop. I'm sure we have grown through that age where we all watched Sesame Street, you know, in our early days, and the things that we still remember about it, and how it created that development for us. So that's what we want the creative sector to do, to have that foundation where we could actually tap into the minds of young people and tap into the minds of the community at large, and allow it to to be a positive mechanism to allow people to see the world, see themselves in all aspects.
And Ms. Snack, I have to bring you in here. I won't let you leave here without telling me or talking about some of your coping mechanisms, because I think it's a two-way thing. The children are missing the classrooms, or most of them, and I know the teachers and administrators are missing those kids and hearing their voices. How have you been coping when it comes to that?
Well, for me personally, I keep myself very busy talking with other administrators, teachers, and even some of the parents and students. We're in that continuous and communication mode. So keeping yourself busy, communicating with your peers, with the children, with parents, help you cope.
What are some of the common things you're hearing during your discussion? With the teachers, the other administrators, what have you?
Well, if you speak to one group of persons, the comments will be different from the so in the parents' perspective, they're eager. Oh, miss, when are you reopening? Up to this afternoon, a parent called me, miss, are you reopening? Sometimes I go to my center and the neighbors are saying, oh, miss, you're getting ready for school. I would say, not quite yet. So for parents, they're eager and they're anxious. They want that early childhood sector to be open. For the teachers, they're out of a job, they're not employed. So the cry is they need some financial assistance. Yes, many of them are getting the assistance from the NIC, but for them that is not sufficient. Also, they're missing that interaction with the children. So oftentimes they would say, oh, miss, I spoke to that person, and the tone, the expression on their face would tell you, okay, they have surely missed a lot. Not even, they have surely missed a lot. Us as administrators, it's a different ball game for us. We're realizing, okay, yes, we're not employed right now, we're out of a job, and on top of that, there is nothing coming in, and we have a set of COVID guidelines to deal with. So for us, it's a difficult time. We're trying to put the pieces together to see if we could meet the guidelines set by the Ministry of Health and Ministry of Education and the Bureau of Standards.
But despite all of this, you're still keeping hope alive. You're still showing the interest in the children, especially with this project, the Kinderpals.
Oh yes, our children, they're in the forefront. They're always at the forefront of our minds, and we cannot not do something to help them, even if there may not be any financial gain for us. Our concern is the children, yes.
And I take note of that smile that comes across your face every time you mention the children, that's awesome. So just again, remind folks, tell folks exactly what the project is all about, Lucia and Kinderpals, how they could help, how they could come on board.
Okay, Lucia and Kinderpal, it promises to be exciting, educational, fun for the children. We're asking parents, when the program begins, tune in, allow your children to watch, be a part of the program. If you have questions, suggestions, send it to us. We welcome your ideas, your suggestions. Also, we want to welcome your financial support. So parents, business owners out there, anybody who wants to donate, who wants to support the program in some financial way, you can contact us and contact us.
Yes. Colin, you have the final say.
Yeah, well, again, I'm just happy to be part of this initiative. You know, I've been dealing with youth programs for a while now, and I'm happy that, you know, we could have found a common ground in producing this program. We're going out, as Mr. Sack said, we're going out to various establishments to get this support, and we're just hoping that, you know, in light of COVID woes, that, you know, it could still be supported. And let me just chip in and say that we've been getting tremendous help from the Ministry of Education here, from the Chief Education Officer in terms of helping us out with this program. So, you know, we're knocking on a lot of doors, and hopefully that we could really put out a program that everybody will be proud of, because we don't want it to be as I said, a short-lived program. It has to be something that will be continuous. And as part of the program, you will also get all the information, how to donate, what the accounts are, and so forth. So we just hope that it becomes a very national, regional program.
Okay, so in the meantime, if folks are interested in reaching out, again, how could they do that?
Well, you could also reach out to our, that is Cut TV Caribbean Youth Film Festival website and also Facebook page to get more information on it, because we'll start rolling out the information there. But it is just a matter of contacting us. The information will start to be available to everybody, and
Ms. Nack, I believe you have a number,
yes, number. And you could also contact our president, Ms. Solastic Elcock, at telephone number 724-1629. 724-1629.
Okay, thank you guys very much for joining me here on today's program, and let me just wish you all the best and much success in those endeavors.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, and thank you, St. Lucia, for staying with us again on today's program. And a reminder to continue to take heed to the reliable information, take heed to the various protocols, and ensure that everything you do is well within the stated guidelines. That's it for me today. Do continue to remain safe, St. Lucia.